Do you ever feel like you're not doing enough? Or you don't have enough time to do the things that you want to do? And even when you do find the time, it still doesn't seem to quite give you that satisfaction, like you've done everything that you thought you could do? Give me a second. Let me explain how you're doing better than you actually think you are. I've always found myself at the end of the week thinking, well, I could have done more, right? I've always thinking that the things that I did do weren't enough and there was too many things that was left on the table. And I would have these weeks and I would really feel this intense feeling of discontentment. And I was thinking to myself, well, why is that the case? Because I literally did everything that I could do given the allotted time and resources that I had. The rules that I was setting up and the game that I was playing was unwinnable. Let me explain how you can shift your mind's perception to see that you're actually doing way better than your mind's giving you permission to believe. When we find ourselves in those weeks where, well, we didn't get enough done, we didn't hit the mark at the end of the week. I tried to get in a workout, I tried to read, I tried to get that stuff done for work, I tried to meet that person, right? I tried to accomplish these little micro goals that I had set up and I just didn't hit all of them. It's because the criteria for us to win is set up in such a way that it's almost impossible to reach it. And this one perception shift that I changed in my mind and this one quote drastically changed how I viewed what it is that I got done in any given week and in any given month. Hey, I'm Mike. I have had OCD and anxiety for the past 10 years of my life, and I've turned that turmoil into tools and prayers, and I share them with you. So this one quote is by Teddy Roosevelt, and it changed my entire perception on how I view the things that I get done in a week and how I view how I accomplish things in general, whether it be in my personal life, in my relationships, in my career, whatever it is. And that quote is, you can only do the best you can with where you are and what you have. It's by Teddy Roosevelt. You do the best you can with where you are and what you have. Now, what that might look like is if in one given week you have no traffic, you have nothing on your mind that's weighing heavily, you have no extra work deadlines, you have no issues in your relationship, right? You have all this extra time, all this extra mental space. You hit all of your PRs in the gym, you read the books you want to read, you get done whatever it is that you want to read. But then the next week, you get stuck in traffic 3 out of 5 days when you go in. You're having problems in your relationship, there's a little tension. The stuff from work, personal stuff, anxiety, maybe a little bit of depression is weighing heavy on you. And now you're comparing yourself and what you're getting done that week than last week when the conditions were perfect, which isn't fair because you can only do the best you can with where you are and what you have. So you can't compare yourself necessarily to who you were last week because the conditions changed, the game changed, the rules changed, right? It's like if one day there's a football team that's playing and the conditions are beautiful, but then the next week it's snowing and icing, right? How could you expect those players to perform the same way when the conditions have drastically changed? And that's how it often is in our life. We can only do the best we can with where we are and what we have in that given moment, in that given day, in that given week, and in that given month. And realizing this really helped me to lighten up on my criteria on what it meant to be successful in my actions, both my micro actions, right, the little things that I did and the big things that I did. That there are some days where there was a lot weighing on my mind, a lot weighing on my heart. So how could I make the same decision with that going on than I could say if I didn't have all this stuff going on in my head or I didn't have all this stuff going on in my life, right? The conditions have changed. And so if the conditions have changed, then your best is going to change from time to time, from moment to moment, from minute to minute, from day to day. So you can only do the best you can in that moment. The more that I thought about this, the more that I lightened up and gave myself a little bit more grace to not be at my best and to not make the best decisions all of the time. Now, sure, you want to make them often, but again, the conditions are going to change, right? I remember there was some weeks where felt like I can barely get through. I wasn't making any right decisions. I wasn't putting in nearly the same amount of effort as I have been. But looking back at it, it's because the conditions of my life changed. So of course my output was going to be different because I had a lot more weighing on me at that time. And so understanding this and hearing this quote again and again and again, you do the best you can with where you are and what you have, right? And some days, as I said, maybe you're looking to work out more, but you get caught up in traffic, as I said, or you have a lot of extra work to do. And instead of having a full hour to work out, you only have 20 minutes. You do the best you can with that 20 minutes, whatever that looks like for you, right? If you are struggling and your kids need a lot of extra attention, you have a lot of appointments, you have a lot of obligations that you have going on that week, and you need to get personal stuff done. Maybe it's for your small business, maybe it's personal goals, things that you want to work on, you want to read, right? You just do the best you can with that little pocket of time and that pocket of resources that you have. And next week, it might be double that. Next week, it might be half, right? That's not the point. The point is you do the best you can. You put the maximum amount of effort that you can with what you have in that moment, with the time that you have in that moment, with the resources that you have in that moment, with what you have going on in your head and your heart in that moment. You come to this realization, it's like, man, if you do the best you can with where you are and what you have, then there's nothing else that you can give, right? It's so cliche. You've heard it again and again. It's try your best, but it's like, you really got to think about it. If you can look at yourself in the mirror, look at your friends in their eyes, and look at your loved ones in their eyes, and they're like, nah, I'm giving my absolute best, then it really is all that matters. And you really don't start understanding that until you start growing older, when you realize, like, man, it really is just my best, and it's going to change, but you know what your best is. So just keep that in mind. I hope that gave you a little bit of encouragement. Because look, there's going to be times in life, as I said, there's going to be so many things going on, so many things in your head, so many things going on externally that you just can't get it all done. But it's all right, because that time and those resources will come in time. Look, life doesn't always give us answers, right? It doesn't always give us the roadmap to where we need to go, but it does give us these moments. It does give us these quotes and these opportunities that we can use to seek virtues and build lighthouses that we can use later on down in life. That is what this channel is all about. So if that's something that interests you, hit that subscribe button. I post easy to understand, pragmatic videos once a week. I post prayers, shorts that can help you to make better decisions in your life. So I'd appreciate any support if that's something that interests you. So again, do the best you can with where you are and what you have, right? I'm rooting for you, kid. I need a stick. I need a stick to put under here.